So this year has been absolutely crazy with e-bike reviews. I have reviewed over 27 e-bikes and scooters combined, and I thought it would be a perfect time to go over my favorite e-bikes in particular categories that I personally reviewed, with one exception. One of these bikes I did not review, but I do want to mention it in the video. But let's go ahead, let's get this video started off on all of the bikes that I have reviewed. I've got a list going on here. So this is going to be the first category, and it's the best fat tire e-bike that I reviewed. And I personally give this one to the Aventon Adventure 2. That bike is absolutely phenomenal. Comes in at only $17.99, and for all the stuff that it offers, it is packed with features. You get a color display, a built-in taillight set on both of the seat stays that also are turn signals. It has a torque sensor, which is super nice because it gives you a little bit of exercise and feels like a more natural bike. And then the brakes are really rock solid on that bike. And I love the side entry battery for that. It makes it real easy to remove and reinsert that battery with those fat tires that are on that bike. So the Aventon Adventure Point 2 is my #1 pick for fat tire. My second one is the Truxus Explorer. And the only reason why this bike got a second place is because of the price. It's $2,299, which is significantly higher than the Aventon Adventure 2. But this thing is powerful. It's super powerful. My youngest daughter has been riding this bike all this last year, and she's put over 500 miles on it, which is absolutely crazy because she just runs around my area and then up to my in-laws. But it's a super solid build. I mean, she's kind of put it through the ringer, and this bike just keeps running, and I've had no issues with it whatsoever. The brakes are phenomenal on that bike. It really does stop that heavy bike with no problem. And the fact that it's got a 20 amp hour battery, it can go a really long distance, which is important when it comes to a fat tire bike. You want a somewhat bigger battery so you can kind of go a little bit further, because those bikes take a little bit more power to push along. So those are my top picks that I reviewed for the fat tire category. And then if we want to look at the folding category, my favorite folding category, Aventon wins this one again. I didn't review a ton of folding bikes, just a handful, but the Aventon Cinch Point 2 is awesome. The bike, I think it looks like one of the best looking folding bikes. Other people have some opinions on that, but I think in person it looks absolutely awesome. I love the tan sidewalls and the road tires on that. And this thing has a color screen just like all the Aventons, and it has that torque sensor, which does make a big difference. I'm a big fan of torque sensors over cadence sensors. I feel like there's a time and a place for a cadence sensor, but in this particular case, a torque sensor is winning out almost every time. It has the built-in taillights, and it has the built-in turn signals. And I really like the fact that you can actually take this Class 2 bike and bump it up to 25 miles an hour now. So it's almost a Class 3. So the Aventon Cinch wins over in the category of folding bikes, and the runner-up for that is the Ebike Tyson. This bike is just super unique. The fact that this bike has a full suspension setup gives it a super comfortable ride, and it's got a powerful motor in it, right around 1,000 watts. And it does have those really cool color match sidewalls, which are unique to the bike industry in general. I think it's one of the only brands that puts color match sidewall tires on their bike, and I just think it kind of makes it stand out as something really unique. And this one also has really good hydraulic brakes, which is something that most other folding bikes don't have. They don't put hydraulic brakes on there, but the Ebike Tyson has hydraulic brakes. The only reason why this one didn't win the overall category is, one, it's a really unique looking bike, so it doesn't fit everybody's taste, but it's also really heavy. It's not a folding bike that you would want to carry up the stairs like the Cinch. The Cinch comes in at a much lighter weight, but the Ebike is a very fun and comfortable bike to ride. Next up, the category is commuter bike. Hands down, by far, this bike right back here is the winner. The Ride One Up Prodigy series is phenomenal. It's a mid-drive motor, and it comes in at only right around $1,895, so right under $1,900 for a mid-drive e-bike. This thing is, I can't even describe how much I like this bike. It is the best riding commuting bike that I have ever been on. It's dead quiet, even with a chain setup in the Prodigy XR that I've got, and it's just so smooth. The tires that they put on this, these Schwabe G1 tires, are amazing, and the only complaint that I have about that bike is that the rear light on it doesn't act as a brake light, and I wish that it would act as a brake light. But with that being said, the reason why it doesn't is it's a mid-drive and there's no brake sensor on a mid-drive. But you get these awesome Tektro 4-piston brakes. These brakes are better than what I see on some mountain bikes that cost more than what this commuter bike costs. So by far, the Ride One Up Prodigy XR wins it hands down. The runner-up is going to be the Aventon Level 2. This bike is beautiful. It's such a good bike. It just continues to run in a high quality line, just like all the other Aventon bikes. So if you're not looking for a mid-drive, but you want a rear hub drive, check out the Aventon Level 2. It comes in right around $16.99. Has that color display, goes up to 28 miles an hour, the torque sensor, and it only weighs right around 62 pounds, which is a light e-bike. If you get an e-bike under 62 pounds that's made for commuting, that's rare. It's very rare that you see a commuting style or any style e-bike under 62 pounds. And this thing has a really high weight capacity, up to 300 pounds. So you've got a lightweight bike that can support a heavier rider if you want it to. Now, moped style, which is a very unique style of bike and very specific to a particular type of rider. You would really want something that you're going to be using throttle a lot. And so therefore the Rev 1 by Ride One Up is by far the best moped style out there for the price. I mean, this thing, you're looking right around $2,400 for the full suspension, right around $1,900 for the hardtail. If you can swing the full suspension, I really highly recommend it. This bike is quick. It'll go 40 miles an hour with the throttle whenever you unlock it. And I'm telling you, this thing was the fastest hill climber in my hill climbing challenge. And I can't say enough good things about it. It's just a phenomenal build when it comes to a moped style bike. Very, very cool, looks awesome, looks stylish. It's definitely a head turner. And if you are a throttle only kind of rider, this might be the bike for you. Now, runner up in the moped style goes to the least expensive one that I reviewed, and that is the Jansnow X50. If you're looking for super budget, you're looking right around $800 for an entry level, full suspension, moped style e-bike. This thing is, when you compare it to the Ride One Up Rev 1, there's no comparison. You're paying $800 versus $2,400. You're gonna get a huge difference in quality. But if you're looking for something to kind of get started or just make short commutes, the Jansnow X50 is one that you want to check out. And then on a totally different category, mountain bikes. Now, I do review higher end quality mountain bikes through this channel. And I personally bought my first e-mountain bike, the Marin Riftzone E1. And I've got to say, I give it to that one because I personally picked that one out, and it is an awesome bike. The suspension is bonkers on it. It comes with a pike fork and a RockShox Deluxe Select Plus in the back for the full suspension part. You get a large 630 watt hour battery, so you can run longer than the standard Riftzone E. And then also, they install Cush Core, which makes it to where you're not going to damage your rims if you hit real rough, rocky stuff, which a lot of bikes don't have that pre-installed. So that's really cool that they installed that. And it comes with a high quality motor, mid-drive. It's the Shimano EP6. This bike is not budget by any means. It runs right around $5,000. But to get into a good quality mountain bike, sometimes you have to spend a little bit more than what, say, most of my budget e-bikes that I review. The runner-up I did not actually ride. This is the Polygon T7E. This is the one that I hope to get to review this year. This one comes in at a super crazy low price. $3,699 is the lowest that I've seen it sell for on bikes online. And this thing has a Shimano EP8 motor in it, which is the lighter weight version of the EP6 that I have in my Marin. Same power output, maybe a little bit different power curve, but overall, the stuff that you're getting on this Polygon T7E for the price, it is definitely a bike that I would highly consider whenever you're looking at a budget mountain bike, a budget e-mountain bike, because otherwise you're going to be spending roughly $5,000 plus to get some of the parts that you'll see on the Polygon T7E. So the Polygon T7E is the runner-up in the full-on mountain bike category. And then if we're just going to go crazy bikes that I have reviewed this year, the most crazy bike that I would say is actually functional is the Yoto Leopard. This is a super fat tire bike, has the CST roly-poly 4.8-inch wide tires, which were so fun. It stomped over everything. And not only that, it's full suspension, has a 20 amp hour battery, and it comes in under $2,000 for a bike of that size and that much power. That's definitely a good value. And then the next one would be the Vanpower's City Vanture. And this one got the crazy award run up because it's a bike you build. Literally, it comes in pieces like a Lego set. You put it all together as kind of like a little project. It's belt driven, so it's super quiet. The batteries are hidden, and it's got an expandable battery as an option. And it's a low powered road e-bike. So you do actually get a workout in it, but you can go surprisingly really far. I actually went over 20 miles with it and barely lost any battery life in it. It's super efficient. I think it can go further than what they actually give the estimates on, but it all depends on the terrain that you're actually riding in. All right, there you go. Those are the picks that I have for 2023 on all the e-bikes that I have reviewed this year. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll put all the links down below for all the bikes that I reviewed and the ones that I picked in this kind of top category video. And if you guys want to use those links, I would greatly appreciate it. It does help out the channel at no additional cost to you. And so that wraps up the 2023 e-bike review category. Hopefully we will get a lot more e-bikes in 2024 and I can give you an even bigger list next year. All right, we'll see you guys later.